Hello, everyone. I'm Joylyn Blake. I'm the director of Scholé Academy, and I'm joined by my dear friend, Angelique Chaverri, who is one of our beloved instructors, and she especially teaches in our lower school and then serves in our tutoring center and our Center for Students with Learning Differences. And we were going to talk today, just so you get a peek at some of the corporate courses that she teaches and what's special about them. So Angelique, hi, welcome. Tell us what it is you teach at Scholé Academy.
Yay, thank you. So I am teaching Reading Foundations 1, Reading Foundations 2, and Reading Foundations 3. And these serve kiddos from pre-K all the way through about third and fourth grade.
And if you know anything about Scholé Academy, you know that's a little unusual because many of our courses serve kind of fourth grade and up. So Angelique, what is unique about your courses, both in the context of how they sit at Scholé Academy is kind of unique, and then also just in the wider world of reading instruction and learning to read and other avenues or curricular approaches? Tell us, what can they expect in Reading Foundations with you?
Absolutely. So my classes are set up as a mommy and me style. So a parent, usually mom, is there with the kiddo for the whole class. The first half of class, I am modeling for the parent what they're going to be doing at home the rest of the week with their kiddo. So I am directly instructing the kids in different reading skills. We're practicing and doing things together, and the children are interacting with each other. Then, about halfway through, they are free to go. And then we have a really scaled up time for the parents where we are going deep on things like neurological activities for the parent to be able to learn how to identify any areas of difficulty in their children, not just the kiddo in the class, of course, and how they can begin to address it at home. We'll work on not just the phonograms and the spelling rules, but we will absolutely do that and make sure we go deep with making sure the parents understand how to use the spelling rules and all those sorts of things. But we'll be doing things like making sure their eye skills are ready for their eyes to be able to track along the page or look from the whiteboard down to their desk, or their vestibular system, which also helps with the eyes. We talk about posture and listening skills, auditory processing, balance and the role that it plays, coordination, the role that it plays, and learning all kinds of different things. We spend the whole school year working on and going deep with these things, and then learning how to incorporate both the expected reading skills and these activities that the whole family can join in on through your school week, all together. And I don't think there are any other reading and spelling curricula out there that incorporate the neurological side of learning. So this is a unique thing.
It most certainly is. And as someone who has sat in and then watched some of the videos and everything, I've been blown away because I was imagining, with my own children when they were young, if I had had the resource and the information that you provide for what to be on the lookout for, what to encourage, what to help, what to take as a potential warning sign to, and I would have felt so empowered. And the thing I love about our setup with you is not only can they get this in a kind of a corporate setting with you, but then if they want to follow up in a more individualized, personalized approach, you also serve with our tutoring center, with our Center for Students with Learning Differences. So they could conceptually follow up with more personalized hours with you through that service too. So either way, you sit in a really empowering seat for families to learn from and take things away from you. But I want to shift for 1 second and tell me, what about the kids? What do you hear from the students that are in class with you, or what do you enjoy and what feedback do you get from them in learning with you in this mommy and me style?
Well, the kids, absolutely. I make sure that they get to build friendships with each other, and they do, and they love that. And they are always so happy to come to class, and that's just absolutely the best. And seeing the light bulbs go on for them, seeing their confidence build as we're going step by step and building the skills little by little, and they're like, oh, that's that, and that's that, and because that's that, that means this connects over here, and that's so much fun for me to get to see the light bulbs come on and the puzzle pieces fall into place. I always get lots of waves and kisses blown at the end of class. It's so much fun, and then we get to share with each other how our weeks have been and that kind of thing. So I feel like we have a lot of fun. We try to make sure we play games, but do things that are very useful and going to make them feel more confident and empowered throughout the rest of the week.
I have seen that, and then it's adorable because then when that break time comes and then the off they go, then I've seen the parents sit there and soak up and then be able to ask questions and then learn from you and take the week's challenge or the week's objective and learn how to put it into practice in their own homeschool. So um what have you heard from parents that their real value takeaways? I know I've heard from these parents who are like, we need more Angelique. So tell me, what do you hear from parents that they really value and cherish about this time?
This has been so incredible. One, the camaraderie with the other parents, the time to be like, well, this is happening, and what about this? And it's not always just me saying this is what you should do, and this is what is happening here. The other moms are speaking in and saying, well, this has worked for us, and have you thought about this? And just encouraging each other, because sometimes it can be so lonely if you're not in a physical, in-person co-op situation, and having that connection with other parents. Very often, the parents end up exchanging contact information and continuing to be a support for each other. But I've heard over and over again that they feel so supported that something crosses their mind and they're just not sure if this is a thing to be concerned about, or wait, I thought I understood that principle or that spelling rule or whatever, and but I'm not quite sure I have it. They know that they have that time set aside where they can ask, and we can dig deep and make sure their questions are answered. And yeah, support. I just think they feel supported. That's what they're communicating to me. And it's a beautiful time. It's really precious to be able to connect not just with the kiddos, but with the entire family, with the parents. And then sometimes the siblings are popping in, and it's great.
So
It's really
last question for you, Angelique. This is a newbie and a freebie, but Um, as homeschooling parents, what we, at least I could have tended to think is that it's my time for getting online courses and online support are when I hit those stages where I can no longer teach the content myself. Like I need someone else to teach my child physics or whatever it may be, or, an area of expertise that I don't have. But by default, I can think at the youngest stages, we're having our read aloud time together and we're bonding and it's sweet. And, this is the level that I'm competent and capable at, which homeschooling parents is absolutely true. Absolutely. But my question for you, Angelique, is what might be missed if they don't have this foundation, or if they don't have this opportunity, or at least don't have this understanding that you're able to provide? What might be missed, and what effects might it have later on? Can you speak to that?
sure. So I already hear from parents that they wish they would have had this with their older kiddos. Um, I have been in education over 20 years. My master's thesis was reading methods that work for students at risk for reading failure, and then that was a long time ago. And I have spent the last 20 years honing that, and I've become very quick at identifying what are the red flags, what are the warning signs that we need to be looking for, and what are all of the different interplays that happen with these different skills. And Very often, this reading is the number one thing since I was in private practice. I went into private practice in 2005. Reading was the number one thing that families came to me for help with. And it was usually about third grade when they realized something wasn't clicking, something was wrong. And for homeschool families, they had usually been through about 3 different reading curricula at that point. And maybe it really worked, whatever they had done before really worked for the older one or the older 2 or even 3. And then one comes along that it just doesn't work for, and they don't know what to do. And very often they'll be like, well, I'm just doing something wrong. No, I can help you. I can help you figure out what is going on with that kiddo and what they need and how we need to tweak their instruction just a little bit so that it works for them. And then you can use it with your whole family. So kiddos, one of the things we know from research is that by the end of first grade, kids start to develop this awareness of how they're doing in comparison to peers and siblings. And if they're struggling and if they see anxiety in mom about learning to read, they may begin to think, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'm not good at this. So if we can catch it early and give them the building blocks that really used to be a part of education when classical education was the norm, then we can circumvent a lot of those problems and put things on the right track to begin with. And I have 2 specific families that have shared with me because of the neurological interventions that we do in this class. I had one kiddo just this last year that was pulled out of public school because of, with the risk of being held back. But there was so much improvement in a few weeks' time just because of the neurological things that we were doing that kiddo is well on his way to grade level. And I had another family that had some kind of they thought they were unconnected, I think. They had a kiddo who was always dealing with air sickness and motion sickness. And yeah, and after a semester of working on these activities that are designed to help with learning, that child is no longer dealing with motion sickness. So the nervous system is not just in our heads, it's in our whole bodies, and everything is connected and everything affects everything. And if we treat the child as a whole being and not separate out reading instruction from PE and so on and so forth, if we put it all together, we can see some amazing things happen.
If your child has a course with Angelique Chaverri, it will change their life. And so I want to say, families, if you have any youngster, kindergarten, first, second, third, I heartily recommend her courses to you, Reading Foundations. Angelique, any last words you want to say about your courses or families?
Just please come along. If you're not certain if you can make it work, I promise it's more doable than you think. And we have so much fun. It's worth the shot.
It is totally worth that investment. Thank you for visiting with me today, Angelique.